Welcome, everyone. My name is Patrick Nazareth. This is the MasterClass. I have around 30 years of teaching experience and I would like to help dispel your doubts, should you have any. Today, we are going to give you a comprehensive guide on essay writing. Most of us are scared of writing essays and you feel that you cannot do it. But essay writing is actually very easy if approached methodically, if you take it point by point. An essay is simply an idea or a subject that you use multiple paragraphs to expand on. An essay, unlike a paragraph could take one idea only. An essay will take several paragraphs to fully explore the topic. There are actually 4 pillars on which the essay stands. The first pillar is unity. The entire essay is on one topic. Every paragraph that you write must connect back to that very same topic. Let's give you an example here. If you are discussing climate change, you might be talking about the Antarctic ice melting, you might be talking about global warming, but every paragraph that you talk about connects back to climate change. You cannot add a paragraph to it until and unless it has a direct impact to the topic in question. The second most important pillar is coherence. You must be able to express your ideas fully. It must be expressed logically. Anybody reading this should be able to understand why these points connect to each other and why you are discussing them here. It must flow from one point to the other. The key question, how do you achieve coherence? First point, you use connecting words. Connecting words like however, also, therefore, etc. Therefore, for example. Secondly, you arrange the ideas in a sensible order. For example, you might take it by time. You might take it in order of importance. Whatever is your idea, whatever is your way of presentation, you must present it logically. Thirdly, you must link these paragraphs together by referring to previous points that you have already covered. Fourthly, you have to keep the same verb tense throughout. This is something that is slightly difficult. People struggle with their tenses, but it can be managed. Whether you're writing in the past tense, the present tense, you have to make sure that the entire essay is written in the same tense. You have to use the same perspective. You have to write either in the first person or the third person throughout the essay. The next pillar is called relevance. A simple question, is this paragraph relevant to the topic I am discussing? If yes, keep it in. If not, remove it. The fourth and final pillar is proportion. There are many ideas that link an essay together. Let's take, for example, sources of renewable energy. You can have solar energy, you can have wind energy, you can have tidal energy. Which of these 3 do you think are more important? You take them in order of importance. Solar energy is important, you devote a paragraph to it. Wind energy is important, you devote a paragraph to it. Tidal energy is hardly used. You might devote an entire paragraph to it, but that paragraph must necessarily be shorter than the other ones. How do you write an essay then? Let's get straight into it. The first step, let's take this topic, analyzing the impact of social media on mental health. What do you look for? 3 particular things. Action words. Are you asked to discuss something, analyze or compare? Whatever it is, look for the action words. Then the topic words, which is the actual subject. And finally, the limit words. The specific aspects, the time period. In the example that I've given below, it's very simple. Your action word is analyze. Your topic word is social media and how it affects mental health. And the limitations only over the last decade. Now that you have understood what you're going to write on, you have to look for a method that suits you best, where you can write down the main points. Let's take a look at the first method here. You put in the topic. Let us say the topic over here is hobbies. You put it in a circle and you have lines coming out of it. Hobbies are different for different people. Here I have given you some. You might have different ones. Whatever it is, choose your hobbies and then add relevant details. Why do people like that hobby? What benefits does it give? How much does it cost, for example? Who are the people who go for this sort of hobby? So now you have the main points. And also you have how you will explain them. The second method is when you make a list. We are looking at the same topic here, hobbies. Look at the list that I have given you. It gives you specific examples. This is perhaps what I am looking for in hobbies. Is it a first-time activity? Is it a personal choice? What satisfaction does it give? Does it help you relax? Does it relieve your boredom? Does it build skills? And so on. You write it and you are now able to expand that into an essay. The third method is where you ask yourself questions. On hobbies, for example, what is it? Perhaps you pick up football or cricket. Why does it matter to you? How does it work? What causes it? Why are you drawn to cricket or football? And so on and so forth. You just ask these questions to yourself. As you ask these questions, you answer them. These answers will become the basis for your essay. Method 4 is called free writing. Write whatever comes into your head. Set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and continuously write. Don't worry about grammar, don't worry about punctuation, don't worry about anything. Just write. When your time is over, read what you have written and then arrange it logically. Arrange it in the fashion that is required for an essay. In the third step, we look at these ideas that we have written down. Then we select which ones we need to write on. You don't need to write on all of them. Select the best ones, discard the weaker points. Organize your ideas. There are 4 options for organizing. First, in order of importance. Start with your least important point, make your way up to your most important point. Second, chronological order. Go in order of time. Earliest first, then there is the problem solution order. You first present the problem, then you give the solution that you have come up with. Then there is the compare contrast method, where you give all the similarities of one point against the other point, the one item against the second item, and then you contrast them. Again, we look at the topic that we have been discussing, hobbies. Here is how we have set it out. The first paragraph, the definition of hobbies. Then, why do people have hobbies? For pleasure, for relaxation. Then, what are the benefits of hobbies? How it refreshes mind, it relieves anxiety, relieves boredom, relieves stress, builds skills. Then we look at the social aspects. We may be meeting people with these hobbies. If you're going out to play cricket, you might be meeting people and building up a team. The educational value, the personal development, and finally, the conclusion. So we have written down our points. We take these ideas which we have listed down and we expand them into sentences. One idea, one phrase expanded into sentences. Please look at the example I have given you to understand how to do this. On to step 5 then. The introduction. What is the purpose of the introduction? Whoever is reading it, it should catch that person's attention. The second thing it does is it introduces your topic. And the third thing it does is states the main idea. How do you start an introduction? There are 4 methods. The first method is definition. Like we were talking about hobbies, define what a hobby is. The second method, starting with a question. Why do people take up hobbies? The third method, an interesting fact about that hobby. Studies show that people who go for hobbies live longer, are happier, for example. The fourth method of starting is a quotation. For example, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. The fifth method, an anecdote or a joke, maybe a short story about someone. Like, for example, you write about your grandfather planting trees in the garden. Step 6 then, writing the body. The first sentence in the body states the idea that you are going to explore. The second sentences, the third sentences explore the details of that. You can give facts, you can give explanations, how you develop the topic. The third, which is an optional thing, is a concluding sentence. You can end at the first 2 itself, the topic sentence and the supporting sentences. That's good enough. Here is an example of how to write the body paragraph when you are writing on hobbies. Step 7. Using transitions. Transition words help to link your sentences together. For example, additions, furthermore, moreover, and so on. There is contrast, nevertheless, on the other hand. There is cause and effect, consequently, therefore, and so on. Example, for instance, to illustrate. There is time, first, second, third. There is emphasis, indeed, in fact, and so on. Conclusion, in conclusion, to sum up, and so on. So these are examples of transitions. I've given you a sentence where I have used them. Step 8, the conclusion. Now you restate your subject, your topic. You could summarize the main points briefly. Yeah, and of course, you should give final thoughts. What you should avoid in a conclusion. Don't write in conclusion. Don't apologize. Do not simply repeat what you have already done in the introduction. Do not end abruptly without proper closure, and never ever come up with new points or new examples. So let's look at the types of conclusions. I have given you examples. There is a generic conclusion, a basic sort of conclusion. There's a stronger conclusion asking for a call to action, in other words, what you should be doing. There is a conclusion with a broader perspective where you look at the idea and you zoom out, give everyone the bigger picture. Step 9. To provide a title for the essay, not to use the title that they have provided. I have given you points on how to write that. Step 10. Your essay is now complete, but you cannot submit it as yet. You need to read it 4 times. The first time, you check for content. See whether you have covered the topic thoroughly. The second time, you check up the structure. Is the composition flowing freely from one paragraph into the other paragraph? Is it going logically from the introduction to the conclusion? To read it the third time, check your language. And fourthly, you look at technical review, where you look at the grammatical points and spelling mistakes and errors. I have set out what you should be doing under each review clearly in the slide. Please pause your video to look at it. Let's look at the essays that we are required to write for schools, 200 to 300 words. It's pretty easy if you follow this pattern. Here is a short essay on the benefits of reading. You have an introductory paragraph, you have 2 middle paragraphs, and you have the conclusion. The word count is mentioned for you. Read it and understand how you should structure an essay. You are giving an examination. A topic has come up. How do you prepare for that topic? You take 5 minutes for reading the question, brainstorming your ideas. You take 20 minutes for actually writing the essay, and you take 5 minutes for reviewing and correcting errors, which will give you a grand total of 30 minutes, which is more than enough to ensure that you finish your essay, finish it well, and also have more than enough time to finish your other questions. Before writing, like we said, we have to write a brief outline on paper. Subject, 1 sentence, 1, 2, 3 points, a word each, and then the conclusion in a phrase. So you pick up that word, you continue writing the phrase, you continue writing. Maximum 2 minutes to plan your essay. Word counts are provided to us by the examiners during examinations. Sometimes you go under the word count, sometimes you go over the word count. Here I have set out how you can increase your word count as well as how you can decrease your word count. 5 things you need to check before submitting it: your length, the structure, the content, the language, and presentation. Right, what are the common mistakes made by students? First, writing too much introduction. Secondly, simply listing points down. Thirdly, repeating the same idea. The fourth mistake that we do is going off topic. The fifth mistake that you can do is using difficult words incorrectly. As far as possible, use simple words, use short sentences. And the sixth mistake is giving no examples whatsoever. I have given you examples of what you should do and what you should not do. Again, pause the video and look at them. Here I have given you a short primer on how to practice your essay writing. The first thing, planning. The second thing, writing introductions. The third thing, writing the body. And the fourth thing, write a complete short essay. Everything is set out for you. Please do again pause the video and take a look at it. You will not have a problem in essay writing at all. In order to help you with your studies, I have given you some common essay topics that come up in your school. Please do make sure that you go over these topics, that you have ideas ready for them, that you have written on them, so that if they do come up in the examination, which is of a very high probability, you will be able to meet those essays with confidence. You will be able to write them well and beautifully and get good marks. That's it then, a comprehensive guide on how to write essays. Follow the instructions. You will never have any fear of essays. You will approach them with confidence. You will be able to write on any topic at any time, any place. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. If I have helped you, there are many other people who would be requiring our help. Thank you so much for watching.